Hello and welcome to the FlowCAD webinar OrCAD X Presto. My name is Petra and I'm supporting my colleague Holger Schröter, who will introduce you to the user interface of OrCAD X Presto and present you new useful features. If you have ever had contact with our support or attended a training, you probably already know Holger. Some words about him: he has studied communications engineering and has many years of know-how in PCB design for various applications, as well as design flow development and support. Since 7 years, he is working as application engineer at FlowCAD. So all set for the moment. Thank you, Holger. Let's get started.
Good. So I'm now going to talk about OrCAD X, which is somehow a superset of OrCAD. So first of all, the OrCAD products will be branded called OrCAD X. And actually OrCAD X offers some more capabilities. So there are some cloud-based features in addition to the normal functionality. And it also offers this new Presto user interface, which I'm going to present today. So I will only concentrate on this Presto interface and not talk about all these cloud-based features in more detail. So one thing I must say up front regarding these toolings. So first of all, the database behind that, the board file, as you already know it, will remain basically unchanged. So you can also open a board you have designed in OrCAD X Presto also in the old OrCAD PCB Editor. This is also working, so you can switch backward and forward if you want to. So and then licenses are for sure available as floating and time-based licenses. This is basically the same license model as before. So you just get with these OrCAD X some additional functionality. So and we were going to have a look at this new Presto user interface, and here's a picture of the user interface as it's come up as default, and you see it looks somehow different from the old PCB Editor interface. And the difference is not only that the buttons are changed or the colors are changed, that's a black theme now or something like this. Also, the complete user model has been changed. So everything is more intuitive and everything is more simplified. So and then this for example, this application modes. So many of you guys know the application modes, and as I give lots of trainings for the PCB Editor, I know that especially the switching of the application modes and also the use model, somehow switching the use model during working with the PCB Editor is, especially for new users, somehow overwhelming. And yeah, we got rid of that stuff. So it's now just one way of working inside of the PCB Editor, and this, especially for my opinion, especially for new users, this is simplified by that. So much about that overview. So I'm going to present some of the features, some of the UIs here, some of the pans inside of the Presto interface now on the slides, and after that I will also show you some of the features inside of the tool and explain something there. So first of all, have a look at the visibility pan. So you guys already know the visibility pan from the PCB Editor on the right side. Typically looks like this, and this looks somehow similar, and in the end it also does something similar. So switching on and off layers, so controlling visibility of what you just see inside of the of the design canvas, so to decide what you are working on. But in addition to that, all the functionality from the old color dialog is now inside of this visibility pane, and you see here there are different tabs here inside of the visibility pane. You can switch by these buttons, and you can, for example, directly control the shadow mode here. And you don't have to go into the color dialog anymore. Everything is concentrated within this visibility pane. And again, this makes life easier for the users, easier to find things. Also, you can switch directly here to the 3D canvas. So it's directly integrated into the tool. It's not starting an additional, I must say, external tool like the old 3D canvas. Everything is integrated here. So, and also you can see here in the middle picture here, the nets. You can control the visibility of the nets, can directly control here the visibility of the guidelines, of unrouted connections and all these kind of things. So everything in one visibility pane. Good. Similar thing somehow is the properties pane. You all know this show element stuff in the old PCB editor to get additional information about all the different objects inside of the PCB editor. So and we got rid of that stuff. And now everything is basically inside here of this property pane. So we see here, depending on the element you clicked on, selected on, so you see different information inside of the properties pane. So for example, if you click anywhere in the canvas, you see directly the information about the board, about the DSCs, what's going on there. So and by that, we also got rid of this DSC browser. So you can directly jump to the DSCs here inside of the properties pane, and I will show you in a second in the search panel and all the information, for example, about the properties or different components, different nets, different traces. Everything is listed basically in the search panel, and this is also a nice thing. It's really, really powerful, easy to use, have a good overview of all the different objects inside of the canvas, basically. So when you see here, if I select a component here on the right side on that picture, then you get for sure information about the components. So for example, what footprint is used, what class it has, and so on and so forth. You can directly lock the component inside of the board and these kind of things. So it's really concentrated again in one panel, basically, this properties panel here inside of the PCB editor. Good. So let's have a look at one short remark regarding library work. So people already know, or most of you guys will know, the old PadStack editor. This basically remains unchanged. You also have the possibilities of the old PadStack editor. But in addition, if you are working on a footprint drawing, you also have this nice pin wizard here on the left side, and it's way easier to use than the PadStack editor. For sure, in the PadStack editor you can control more different things, but the most commonly used PadStacks you can also define inside of this pin wizard. So you see here the different forms of the PadStacks. You can decide whether you want to design a surface or through-hole PadStack, and then you can enter some simple values, and then you directly have the PadStack and can place it inside of your footprint drawing. So that's also a nice thing, makes life easier. For sure, if you need special, dedicated, high sophisticated, whatever PadStacks, then you will still need the old PadStack editor, which is anyhow inside of the Presto interface also available. Good. So then let's have a look at placing parts. For sure, it's one of the first things you need to do when you draw a design. And yeah, we have here some possibilities to place by series, for example. That's basically like the normal old-fashioned place manual. We have the possibility to place by cluster. I will show this inside of the tool. It's easier than to explain this here on the slide. So, and what is really important here, I told you that we have the search window here, and inside of the search window, you can also select the components you want to use during the placement work. So again, it's just one UI for everything. The search panel, as I mentioned, can be DSC browser, can be the selection panel for the different components you want to place, and so on and so forth. I will show this anyhow in the tool a little bit later. And what we also have here, we have here these arrangement features, so to say, drawing features. Looks somehow similar to the arrangement stuff in PowerPoint, and actually it works the same. So you can align components, you can rotate components, and so on and so forth. So again, very easy to use. You see it directly on in the properties panel. You don't need to do this stuff like edit, rotate, or right mouse button, click, rotate, or something like this. So everything again is in one panel, and then we got rid of all these different possibilities how to achieve a dedicated task. So it's just one way to work, and especially as I already mentioned, makes life easier for new users. Good. So here I again a picture of the DSC browser. So we just saw this stuff here in the properties panel, and here is now the result, which is reported then in the search window. And now it's all the DSC errors, and you see we got rid of this old DSC browser. Everything is now in the search window. Good, then we have some additional features. So one nice feature is for sure this design review and markup. By using this feature, basically you can get rid of additional documentation somehow. So imagine you want to tell the layouter, okay, please add a test point at a dedicated location inside of the board. So what you need to do, you maybe need to write a mail, make a screenshot of the board, mark the place where you want to have that test point, and give this to the layouter guy. So now we got rid of this stuff. It's everything inside of the design canvas directly, or inside of the design tool, I must say. So you can mark up a dedicated location inside of your design. You can write a command like this test point stuff here, or optimize ground routing, or whatever you want to. And all this is directly saved inside of the board database. And you can give it to an external layouter or to whatever, and he can use this stuff. And yeah, for example, at this test point you want to have at a location. So by this we minimize somehow an external additional documentation which was required previously. So in this for me this is really a nice and good feature. More modern way to communicate within groups and these kind of things, and especially really useful during the design review somehow. Good. Then what we also have, as I already mentioned, completely integrated 3D canvas and 3D engine. So no need to go into an external tool like before with the old PCB editor, where the 3D canvas was somehow, a complete different UI. Everything is now integrated. And you can switch instantaneously between 2D and 3D. So it's really very, very fast to render. And it's also really fast when you do things like bending or something like these operations. So the 3D canvas is really powerful now in the meantime. I will show this inside of the PCB editor and in the board. And I will also show you the new 3D DSCs possibilities, which are also available inside of the tools. So here we have a slide for that. So you can now check component to component, component to board, to rigid flex, and so on and so forth. So this works also in banded state, and you then see where component might touch each other or something like this. So, and what is really a good thing, it's integrated directly into the constraint manager. And the use model is exactly the same as you already know from the constraint manager. So we have here just the old constraint manager with the old things you can control here. So electrical, physical, spacing, and so on. And in addition, we have here 3D. And as you see here, we have the same setup constraint set, attach the things or assign the things to the design. When you see here, for example, here, component clearance in this case. I will show this also in the tool somehow later. And this is really also a nice thing, especially if you have for sure interesting for flex designs, but also you can check components to a housing of a board or something like this. So 3D clearance checks. Good, then we also have some new possibilities regarding the co-design between ECAD and MCAD. So in all what was already inside of the old PCB editor was this IDX, IDF interface, DXF import for sure. And now in addition, we have this SolidWorks interface, this based on the MCAD X format. So the basic use model is somehow similar to the old IDX-based interface. So we can baseline incremental exchange files. We can also preview different changes and accept them or reject them. And this makes life easier, especially for the companies working with SolidWorks. So there's this new MCAD X interface, which I'm not going to present here in the tool anyhow, but just that you know that this is also available now in the Presto interface. Good, and also a feature I will not present because it's also a cloud-based feature. We have now two-user concurrent co-design. So two users can work together inside of one board file. And this is also a nice thing sometimes during reviews, sometimes in bigger boards, for example, to reduce the design time so you can directly work together. Two different people work together inside of one board. So what is also a nice thing here, you don't need to set up anything special, any special hardware, any special dedicated server for that. You don't need much IT support because everything is running in the OrCAD X cloud. So cadence-based cloud solution. And you can then directly work with your board inside of this cadence cloud. And yeah, reduce the design time basically by working together. Good. So then we also have, and this is for me one of the most important new features inside of the Presto interface, is this LiveDOC. So in the old PCB editor, writing out the assembly of fabrication documentation, all the manufacturing documentation was really a cumbersome thing. And now we have an interface also directly integrated into Presto, which offers basically a one-click solution in the end. So you set up a template, put your things together, what you want to have inside of your board, and then automatically with one mouse button click, you can write out the PDF documentation for your board and have everything together. So this is really a good and powerful thing. I will show this. I will show this also inside of the Presto user interface so that you have an impression how to work with this LiveDOC and how to generate your documentation for the manufacturing. Good, and what is also really a good solution, I must say, is the generation of the Gerber drill data, ODB++, IPC 2581, whatever format you are using. This is also now within one UI, everything together. So in the old PCB editor, we had this manufacturing artwork, manufacturing drill, whatever, or file export, IPC 2581. So now everything is in one UI, and you see this here. You can decide what you want to use. Directly click it. There are predefined data, for example, external and internal conductor or something like this for the artwork, and so on and so forth. So I will show this, and it's really powerful and easy to use. LiveDOC is also integrated there. And this makes, again, life easier when it comes to the output of the manufacturing generation. Good. Yeah, so much about the slide deck. So I'm now going to switch into the tool and show you something. So I will give you an overview regarding the user interface. I will for sure show you these properties and visibility pan because they are really, really powerful. So you show you the search window, and some additional features like for sure the new 3D canvas, this markup stuff, and manufacturing documentation output. So this will be the topics of the things I want to show you inside of the tool. So first have a look at the user interface. You see this. So I arranged this a little bit different. So as I'm a really old Allegro guy in the meantime, I put the visibility pen also here to the right side because I'm used to that. And we see this here, properties and visibility pen. But let's have a look at the menu first. So first of all, what you directly see, we got rid of all these buttons. So it's really more streamlined, more simplified, the user interface. And this for me is, as I already mentioned, especially for new guys working with the PCB editor, really a good thing. And if you go also very shortly, I will not read through all the menu items. It's also simplified here. So what I wanted to show you here inside of the file menu is the import possibilities. So there's already the Altium and Eagle importer, also PETS importer integrated into the Presto user interface. So, and if you go through this stuff here, you always see it's, way less points or menu items than in the old user interface. So everything got simplified somehow. You have here different panels. So, and what I wanted to show you here inside of this thing, there's also an AI-based, cloud-based solution, auto placement and auto router stuff. So Cadence is working on this. We did some first tests, so yeah, it's quite promising, but it's not ready at the moment. But in the future, we will have an AI-based solution for placement and also routing of the boards. So Cadence really putting great effort in that stuff. So then we have this. Then we have the setup stuff here. So for example, design parameter, there you see directly the shape settings, for example, unused pad suppression, teardrop, taper settings, and these kind of things. And again, yeah, somehow simplified compared to the old design parameter editor. So we have possibilities here. Backdrilling is integrated already. Also, we have here zones for the flex designs, bands for the flex designs, and these kind of informations. So, and then we have here this tool section. There we have for sure the constraint manager, cross-section editor, this markup stuff, and so on. So, and here we have ECO, that's for sure very important. Update PCB, so import the logic information into your design, or doing back annotation for sure. And also we have here now this OrCAD X interface. Good, and then we have here the manufacturing. I will go through that a little bit later once I've explained the rest of the user interface a little bit. So export to manufacturing, also this LiveDOC stuff here. Good, and then here on the left side, we have here just a few buttons. And what you have to keep in mind, when there is this small arrow, then you can right-click on this button, and then you get the different things underneath here. For example, here for placement, move, for example, or place components, doing a pin swap, and so on and so forth. Same thing here for slide. There we have this delay tune, phase tune. Then we have add connect here, doing breakout routing, add connect, and so on and so forth. We have shapes here, for example, here structures and so on. I will not read through all these different things here now. Let's first concentrate a little bit on the placement. So, and for lots of these buttons, there's a small window opening, and you see here there's possibility to place components by series, as I mentioned. This is basically place manual like the old-fashioned way, and we also have a cluster possibility here. I will show this in a second. So if you want to get rid of this window, so sometimes, for example, for routing or sliding or something, this window is somehow bigger. So you can go into the command and then get rid of this window because it's disturbing in the canvas by simply making it invisible somehow here with this button here above there. Good, so let me grab some of the components here. Let me grab some of these 0805 capacitors. And now you see directly they are attached to my mouse and I can place components. Or I can use this cluster stuff and then cluster the components. Maybe, no, I wanted to do in that fashion. Maybe cluster 4 columns or 3 columns or whatever vertical. So, and then you can place directly a cluster of components. Good. So, and what you can also do, I mentioned this already, you can align this stuff here in the properties pane. So let me do it like this. And then you can use these PowerPoint-like buttons here on the right side and align some components here. So what we also can do here, let me get rid of these guys. Just a second, in this way, so just the components. And what you can also do here, and this is also a nice thing, you see here in the properties panel, you have the information about the components. For example, that these guys are discrete components, in this case SM0805 capacitors, and get these informations about this. And what you can also do, you can directly enter here a value, let's say 15, for example, and then you see the parts are moved to an X location of 15. This is really also a nice feature. So you don't have to move everything manually by the mouse. You can directly enter the coordinates, and this in a good and easy way here, directly inside of the properties panel. This is really a nice thing from my point of view. And you see here these arrangement features, they are somehow PowerPoint-like. Good, and since we already are just here inside of this property window, let me maybe explain or show you a little bit more. So we also have the selection filter here. This works somehow similar to the old selection filter in the PCB editor. Don't wonder about the names. So Cadence decided, for example, to rename C-line to trace. There are some things are renamed. Don't ask me why they did that stuff, but yeah, they did it in that way. So now a trace, now a C-line is a trace. Good, and what you also can directly see, if you click empty somewhere inside of the canvas, inside of the board, then you get the information about the board. So how many unplaced components you have, how many unmounted nets, and so on and so forth, whether the DRCs are out of date and something like this, also units of the board, and all these kinds of information. I will show this a little bit later in a second in a board where there's already more components are placed, more DRCs are visible, and then we can have a look at this again. So, and what I also wanted to show you here is this visibility pen. Let's go out a little bit here like this. And what you directly see here, we have here the normal visibility control possibilities. So, for example, here turn on and off the complete top. What is also a nice feature here, you can decide what you really want to see here. So in this case, and I'm just placing components. I'm not caring about the mask layers, so get rid of the mask layers here. I don't also need the plane layers, for example, because I don't working on the plane layers. Get rid of them. So and this simplifies again this UI here, and you just can switch on and off the few layers you want to you're currently working on, basically. So, and as I mentioned, all the other objects are also inside here of this visibility pen, and no need to go into the full-blown color dialog, because everything is here now, right at your hands. Also, you can see here different nets inside of the board, and also you can see here this display control stuff. So like the shadow mode, for example, like opacity and these kind of things. You can also switch it to 3D. I will do this a little bit later inside of a board where there are step models and flex bands and these kind of things to show you that stuff. Good. Yeah, so much about the placement. Let me open a footprint drawing so I can shortly show you the new pad stack wizard. So first of all, when we place a pad here, we can simply use the search bar again here. So if I click here on this place pad, then we have here my list of my library pad stacks, basically, and you can simply select one of them. So again, everything is here in the search bar, so no need to go to a different UI to place the pad stacks inside of a footprint, for example. So, and what I wanted to show you is this small, new, nice wizard here. And with this, you can then generate very easily generate the most commonly used pad stacks. So as I already mentioned when I showed you the slide deck, it's not replacing the old powerful pad editor, because there are way more possibilities here. But here, yeah, as mentioned, most commonly pads you can directly design here. So let me do this. I will not change much here. I will give it a fancy name, and then you are done, and you can directly place that pad stack. For sure, you have the similar possibilities as in the old PCB editor. So decide the count of the pins in X and Y direction, the pitch, and so on and so forth. So I think this is known to you guys already. So, and this for me is really a nice thing, because yeah, it's directly integrated here. No need to go into an external pad editor. Easy and simple to use, and yeah, for many things it's sufficient to do that in that way. Good. So then let me show you in another board some other possibilities or some other things here. So get rid of these changes. So now we have a board here where there is some more things are routed, some more DRCs are in there, and there I can show you these DRC possibilities here. And as mentioned, if we go to properties, then again we have this properties. If I click somewhere in the canvas regarding the complete board database. And you see here they are out-of-date shapes, they are out-of-date DRCs, so let's update this stuff first. So all DRCs are up to date now, and we have now here, for example, some DRCs inside of the board. And you see here there are some, for example, 12 electrical DRCs, 13 physical, and 7 spacing DRCs. And if you click here, then you directly see here, okay, my search window now becomes the DRC browser. And you go here and can directly, for example, zoom into the board, into the area where this DRC occurs. You can directly wave it here. So everything is again here in this properties panel. And you don't need to go into display wave DRC or some other fancy things. No, so you don't need to go into show element or something like this, dedicated show element command, because everything is right now here in the properties panel. Very easy to use, very fast and powerful to use also by that. Good. So what else can I show you? Yeah, I think maybe let's talk a little bit about the shapes. So I already showed you the setup design parameters. So here we have the basic settings for sure about the shapes. Let me draw a small shape into the board here. So again, here the small window comes up. Let me choose the net like that. And then I will put a shape like this here. So, and you see, like in the old PCB editor, the basic settings of the shapes come from the, so to say, global shape, dynamic shape parameter. So, and what I want to show you now is a thing regarding the thermal tie. So we have a thermal tie connection like this here. So, and if I want to change this for one dedicated pin, I can directly do it here. So I go to pin properties, and then, for example, I have the thermal reliefs for that pin here, and I can directly change it maybe to full contact. Very easy to use, no need to go into edit properties, select one of these fancy dynamic shape properties. I must say the old way in the PCB editor, working with all these different properties, there were hundreds or even thousands of properties, was one of the most complicated thing in the PCB editor. And by doing this here directly in this pen here, it's really, yeah, way more easy to use than in the old PCB editor. And this is for me, this is really, really nice feature and nice thing to directly do it here. Yeah, so much about this for the moment. I'm for sure I forgot some things, but never mind. Let's go into the 3D canvas. So I have a board here, as I mentioned, where there are some things, prepared for that. So first get rid of this text here, because this is somehow disturbing me. So turn that off. So now we have a board. We have here some flex zones. We will see this in a second inside of the 3D canvas, and switch into that. And what we also have set up here, let me show this inside of the constraint manager, is some 3D checks here. So as mentioned, the constraint manager is basically unchanged. This constraint manager, as all you guys know it already, with the different domains here, electrical, physical, spacing, and so on. But in addition, we also have this 3D clearance constraints here. And again, use model is the same. Good use model, because I'm really like the constraint manager, because it's really very good arranged and everything. Yeah, have good overview about everything. And the work model is here exactly the same like in all the other domains. So always define a constraint set and assign then the constraint set to the design, to the dedicated object inside of the design. So in this, what I set up here, so I set up the clearance check, 3D clearance check, for a few of, or just a few of the components here inside of this design. So, and I used horizontal and vertical clearances like this, so 0.25 and 0.5 millimeter. And we will see this now directly inside of the 3D canvas, what happens with these checks here now. So, and first of all, let me show you the switch between 2D and 3D, and you see it's directly integrated. Same canvas, everything stays the same. And you are now in the 3D canvas. So and you can now directly see here the spans. Everything is really fast and smooth. So the 3D engine is really powerful in the meantime. So and what you also see here, there are some DRC markers. And these DRC markers, they're coming from my checks I just showed you inside of the constraint manager. And hopefully you can see it. Some of the components are touching each other here, so which is not allowed. And therefore I got a DRC here. So, and what you also can directly do here, so we have again here the similar visibility, or not similar, it's the same visibility stuff here as in a normal PCB editor because it is the same UI. So, and also we have the properties here and these kind of things. And what you also have here is this component section here. So you can turn on and off everything for the top and bottom. And what you can also do, you can directly add a step model here. For example, for a mechanical part, for a housing or something like this. And then you can directly arrange this here directly inside of the board. So no need to define a dedicated mechanical symbol, map the step model to that mechanical symbol, place the mechanical symbol or whatever. You can directly do it here. So, and then you can also directly change everything here, arrange everything here. So, for example, you have this manual possibilities to move the step model around here inside of the board. So I will not do it very accurately just to show you how it's working. And then we have arranged here housing for this small flex board here in this case. This is also a nice feature. Good, so much about the 3D canvas for the moment. Let me switch back first to 2D. And then let's talk a little bit about, first talk a little bit about the markup feature, and then we want to talk about the manufacturing output and the LiveDOC in the end. So let me open another board for that. I have here prepared board because I prepared the LiveDOC stuff for that board here. So just small board here. So and first of all, let me show you maybe the markup feature. And if we want to use this is this button here for that. And then we have here on the right side again the markup feature in the end. So we have here this new command, and I add a command. I stay with this test point example, and then I add a command add test point. For example, I can draw a rectangle, for example, like this, and then I marked up this location as a test point location for the layouter to add a test point at this location, for example. So very, very useful during design review. That's why it's called design review and markup, to give additional information to the layouter, for example. So say something like at test point, or say something like, yeah, this line needs to be wider because of the current it has to carry, or something like this. So and then the layouter, for example, can say, okay, done. I added a test point. And you can also add additional commands like, no, wrong test VR used, or something like this. I will not do this again. So yeah, we have a documentation right inside the PCB editor, right inside the board database. So everything is saved inside of the board database. Yesterday, when I did this webinar in German, there came a question up, is there anything like cloud connection needed for this stuff? No. Everything I showed you today is right inside of the PCB editor. No cloud connection needed for all the stuff I just show you inside of the tool. And also, this is valid for this design review and markup stuff. This is also saved directly into the board database. So yeah, and then for sure you can get rid of this stuff. You can archive this. This is also sometimes useful when you give a board to a subcontractor or something like this. You can archive all this stuff, load it then again into your board to see whether the subcontractor layout has really done its job in a way you want to have all the things. Good, so much about this markup. Then let me show you two additional things. First of all is this manufacturing output. So first of all, we have here export placement. There you can export directly, export pick and place information. And then we have this UI here where everything regarding manufacturing output is put together, so to say. And you see here, you can directly select some things like external kappa, internal kappa, planes, and so on and so forth. This is predefined somehow, but you can also directly go down here and define your own things. So, and I want to define something for test. That's why I call it test. And then, for example, I want to put the test drill file in there and see data for that, and maybe also, well, let's take a pass point report. So and then by this you have directly defined your small test output you want to write out. So and then simply select the stuff and do export, and then you get these data you selected. They are exported somehow. For example, here also fabrication IPC 2581 is selected, and that's why you will also get this IPC 2581 output here. Yeah, this is really nice thing. For sure, you have possibilities to configure your films as you want to have them. So put dedicated layer into a film as you need it for your manufacturing. This is also a possibility. So, and again, this is just one place where you export all the manufacturing data and not distribute it through the complete tool somehow, and you need to search where to find different things. Good, and then last point I want to show you today is this LiveDOC, because for me this is one of the most useful things inside of the Presto interface. So we have now a documentation editor directly here in this interface. So, and as you see here on the right, on the left side, there are predefined views. So, for example, you can select an assembly view, top view, assembly bottom view, custom view. I will show this in a second, all the different artworks and so on and so forth. And directly pick them from here, put them into your drawing frame. So I used the FlowCAD drawing frame here, and then you have the information. You like the stack up view here, drill drawing, drill chart, and so on and so forth. So this is really, really nice, easy to use, powerful. Also, this dimension stuff is now inside here of this LiveDOC editor. Way more easy to use than in the old one, because this old dimension environment was somehow cumbersome to work with. This is way easier now. So, and if you want to, so here's, for example, a picture of the different artworks inside of this small board. And now I'll show you how to define a new document. So it's simply use this plus sign here, plus page, then you get a new empty page. And I will show you now a custom view. So I just click it here, then it's attached to your mouse, and then you can define everything here. So let's make this a little bit bigger. So in custom view, in this case, as the name says, you can customize this stuff, and you can customize this by using the pens on the right side. And again, here's the visibility pen. And then you can use, for example, this guy here. So now we have basically the kappa on the top of the board inside of my custom view. So, and what is also a nice feature, this is a little bit strange to use, honestly, but here you have some hints regarding this. There's also a nice feature to zoom into that and have a detailed view then of your design. So, and therefore you need to press Control and double click, and then you can zoom in here. And let me do it like this. So we can see these two guys on top here with their blocking caps or whatever components this is. So now it's locked, and now we have this detailed view of two components, two ICs with a few additional components here on top. So this is really also nice. A very nice thing to complete your manufacturing documentation. So detailed view of a part of the board. So why it's now called LiveDOC? Remember this layout stuff here. So when I go into the board, I zoom into this dedicated area where these guys are here inside of the board. And now I got rid of the routing here. Like this, delete it. And if I now go to LiveDOC, then we see here it's also deleted here. It's directly updating. That's why it's called LiveDOC, because everything is always online live and shows the current design as it is. No need to update something, no need to redraw or redo some documentation stuff. It's always up to date. And yeah, that's why it's called LiveDOC. Good. Yeah, I think for the moment I'm through with my topics which I wanted to show you.
That's it. No more questions anymore,
Okay.
or is there? If yes, please, you have always the possibility to contact us.
Yeah.
So see you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.